I think it's a failure that they didn't win in 2 seasons before. Because for 4, 5, 6 years the investment is crazy. The list of top players that is there is incredible.
Since 2012, PSG have dominated French football, winning 10 out of the 11 Ligue 1 titles, 7 French Cup, and 10 French Super Cup. But there's one trophy missing from their collection: the elusive Champions League. And what's shocking is that they've only made it past the last 16 3 times since 2012. At first glance, it might seem like bad luck. But when you consider that the French giants spent a staggering €1.9 billion during this period, it becomes clear that it isn't just misfortune, it's a failure of the system. How could a team invest over €1 billion and still fall short of the ultimate prize in European football?
Argument, because there's only one goal for these PSG owners. The goal is only to be the top team in Europe.
When Nasser Al-Khelaifi's Qatar sports investment took the reins at Paris Saint-Germain in 2011, they had big dreams, especially when it came to conquering the Champions League. In a 2014 interview, Al-Khelaifi even made a bold promise: PSG would conquer Europe within 4 years. But things didn't go as planned. Despite all the hype and investment, they've struggled to make a mark. Since QSI took over, PSG made it to the quarterfinals 7 times, the semis thrice, and only one final in 2020, where they lost narrowly to Bayern Munich. When we compare the Parisians' performance to other top European teams, their struggle becomes even more obvious. Since 2012, Real Madrid has reached 6 finals, Liverpool 3, and Manchester City, Juventus, and Bayern Munich have each made it to 2. Of these clubs, only Manchester City has outspent PSG. In fact, the combined net spending of Bayern and Real Madrid since 2012 is less than what the French giants have shelled out over the same period. Yet those teams have collectively won the Champions League 8 times since 2012. On the business side, though, QSI has done an incredible job. They bought PSG for just €70 million, and now the club is worth an astounding €4.4 billion. The club's president has played a key role in this growth, helping them rise to 3rd place in the latest Deloitte Football Money League ranking. However, despite the impressive financial success, the team's performance on the field tells a different story, and they only have themselves to blame. In his first media appearance as PSG president back in 2011, Al-Khelaifi claimed that the club's goal wasn't to sign established superstars like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, but to discover the next generation of talents. However, that's not what we've seen. Right from the get-go, the French super club prioritized signing well-known names, consistently aiming for the biggest names in football, and bringing them in at either their peak or on the brink of stardom. Essentially, those destined for the Ballon d'Or shortlist. This approach is known as the Pseudo-Galacticos policy, where oil-rich giants literally went after the biggest names they could find. Why not? They had the money, and the big stars flocked to Paris. First, it was Javier Pastore, then came Thiago Silva, followed by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The next summer, in 2013, they signed Napoli's Edinson Cavani. This was a time when a €50 million transfer fee was still eye-watering, so the €64.5 million spent on Cavani was massive at the time. In 2017, the French giants kicked things off with a jaw-dropping €222 million purchase of Neymar. It was a bold move, proving that money was no object for them, and Neymar, with all his talent and flair, was the perfect headline signing. These moves at the time were both tactical and marketable, as PSG needed to prove they were worthy of the spotlight. They subsequently splashed €180 million for Kylian Mbappe. The young sensation was explosive and had to be brought in. It made sense, right? Messi joined the team in 2020 simply because he was available. I mean, who could say no to Messi? To mix things up even more, they added Achraf Hakimi, Europe's most attacking right back, to a team desperately needing defensive stability. At this point, the team looked more like a constellation of stars than a cohesive unit. And just when you thought they were done, they spent €12 million on Gianluigi Donnarumma, making him the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, even though they already had the very skilled Keylor Navas. Is it wrong to have the best of the best in your team? I don't think so. However, the problem is the French super club focused too much on amassing stars and too little on building a team with identity and continuity.
And I think until PSG address their issues of just buying the best players, then it's not going to work.
To be involved how long they've had, Qatari ownership, state ownership, more money than anyone else in the world, and buying the best players, it doesn't mean anything if there's no expertise in what you're doing in terms of bringing the right players.
This approach of just buying the best players has had its downsides. Former senior staff members have pointed out clashing egos as the major issue. Players would get upset over minor slights or would even appeal to higher-ups if unhappy with team selections. The star-studded team was tense, and attitudes on and off the pitch revealed these tensions. Case in point, in 2017, when Neymar had a public spat with Edinson Cavani over a penalty against Lyon. Similarly, 2 seasons ago against Montpellier, Mbappe missed a penalty, and when PSG got another one, Neymar took the ball and scored. Mbappe didn't celebrate, and Neymar liked social media posts criticizing Mbappe as the first-choice penalty taker. This led to a confrontation between the two the very next day. How on earth is a manager supposed to get the best out of these players? The club's hierarchy is also chaotic, with club executives calling the shots on player transfers. Ideally, as you know, the coach should make transfer decisions, not executives who sit in offices and have no role in the game's tactics. PSG's dominance in the French league has led them to believe that this top-down approach to transfers, with the manager simply guiding the pre-assembled team, is the right way to go. But the reality is there's virtually no competition in France, and when it comes to the Champions League, this method simply won't work. It seems Nasser Al-Khelaifi and the club executives believe they could buy the Champions League with the best players within 5 years. That never happened because success in football requires more than just star players. It needs good management and a cohesive team. Another big mistake by the French giants over the years is neglecting the club's promising youth academy in favor of spending huge amounts on foreign players. When you compare PSG with other top European clubs, what's striking is the absence of former youth players in their first team, despite having one of the best talent pools. While many top European clubs boast star players who came up through the ranks, numerous stars who began their careers in Paris are now shining elsewhere. If we were to assemble a starting 11 of the most valuable former PSG Youth Academy graduates now playing across Europe, their combined worth would be an incredible €477 million. The frustrating part for the Parisians is that they let these 11 players leave for a total transfer fee of just €62 million. And that's not counting Xavi Simons, currently on loan in RB Leipzig, who's expected to depart PSG this summer. Imagine if PSG had kept and developed these players. How different might their European campaigns have been? The reality is that money alone cannot guarantee success in the Champions League, a competition that demands collective effort, relentless determination, and a deep-rooted desire for victory from every player. Unfortunately, PSG lacks these crucial ingredients and has consistently underperformed on the biggest stage because of it. Their fate could have been different if the club had focused on building a cohesive team, nurturing talented graduates from their youth academy who understand the true spirit of Les Parisiens. Well, they seem to have learned, and the fans are clearly frustrated with the club's obsession with high-profile players, especially since this obsession has blocked the pathways for academy talents to make the first team. So, the French giants hatched a plan.
Well, the plan is to build a younger, hungrier side made up predominantly of French players. They do want to end this Galactico culture.
Right now, PSG is putting a lot of effort into revamping their academy structure. They believe the wider Paris area is the best talent pool in the world, even more productive than Sao Paulo in Brazil that brought wonder kids like Kaká and Alexandre Pato. The logic is simple. Rather than letting Paris-born talents like Mbappe develop elsewhere, then buying them back for an astronomical fee, why not bring them to Paris at a much younger age? The transformation has begun. Last season, in the game against Borussia Dortmund, PSG fielded the youngest starting 11 for a Champions League semi-final match since Arsenal in their 08-09 campaign against Manchester United. A new era is dawning in Paris, and while this doesn't guarantee that past failures won't continue to haunt them, it's a step in the right direction. One that focuses on building a cohesive team rather than catering to the style of individual superstars.